What I want to talk about today is kind of four things. The first is how to actually train fitness clients online without in-person experience, how to do that well. The second, which I really, really love, is actually how to build up your knowledge base and expand into new client groups systematically without blowing yourself out, so that you can expand the amount of people that you're going to work with at any given time. And that'll make more sense after I go through the first. The third is how to actually market online training without any previous experience or past results. And the craziest thing is you actually have a marketing advantage if you've never worked with clients before. And I'll talk about why. And the final is, of course, why movie. I mean, this was always the case, but even more so, you got to build the business and the fitness skill set simultaneously.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
My mom would never tell me that she didn't like my beard and that I should shave it, but she passive aggressively told me, she's like, oh, well, it makes you look older if that's the look that you're going for.
Wow. Wow. Ouch.
Nice, Mom.
Ouch.
Good one.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I'm recording myself recording on the podcast because I have Instagram stories today. I'm doing stories.
Just for fun.
And the
You
people
just decided to diminish the quality of the podcast for your own Instagram storyboard?
That's exactly what I'm doing. So
Okay.
So now people can see that I'm on the podcast with you guys podcasting. And that's important to me.
Can you make sure that you tag me in that?
All I want to do is tag you in it.
Yeah, because
That's
then I get more followers.
Absolutely, you give us more followers. Absolutely. Do we have a topic today? I didn't see any trending topic information.
Yeah, I know. Amber chose it.
Oh, did you?
What is it, Amber, and your traps?
How to train online without any in-person experience.
Oh, this is the topic that's been trending in the OTA areas.
Oh.
Jonathan been talking. I saw a very burly pic of Jonathan Goodman suggesting this topic. I loved your Instagram pic. Was that an Instagram story that you had today? It was full beard, and it was a sponsored ad, and you had a very stern look on your face, Jonathan. I can't remember what it was for.
What was it on? Was it on my Instagram? Was it on the PTDC one?
I think it may have been PTDC.
Yeah, I have no idea what gets posted on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously helped with the strategy setting it up,
Right.
But I don't.
Sure you did, John.
I'm so blissfully unaware of what goes on there. There's like 70,000 people there.
Is it?
Nice.
Yeah, that page grows pretty fast.
Yep.
Which is surprising. But yeah, no, we add a lot of value there. It shows you how important it is to syndicate material. I mean, we don't produce anything new from there. What we do is we basically get our material redesigned and then publish there. But we do put a lot of resources into it. But we don't create new things for there, I think is the most important.
Who's doing that? Because I noticed the shift in the stylized version of the PTDC infographics and posts on Instagram. It's really good. I love it.
Well, I mean, if I name the names, it wouldn't mean much to
never
you.
mind. Never mind.
But
I forgot who I was asking.
I think what matters is how it's operated for anybody listening, because we're always about adding value to our listeners here at the Online Trainers Show, and
it's what we do.
That's what we do. And so how our company works is we have one person who is in charge of each department, basically. They're the head of each department. They're responsible for each department. Doesn't mean that they necessarily do the work. Might mean that they do some of the work, might mean that they do all the work in different cases. But in this case, Instagram is owned by Geraldine, who's a staff writer from us. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know Geraldine.
Geraldine does a fair bit of a copywriting as well, but basically she owns Instagram. So she goes in and she posts the stats and she kind of figures out what to do there. And then she works with Joey, who's our creative director, and Joey has a whole bunch of outsourced. A lot of people message us and ask us what app we use to create those. Like this is at the PTDC on Instagram. And we don't use any kind of an app. They're all custom designed. We have a couple contractors on Upwork who do it.
Nice.
And so basically, Geraldine gets the content created based off of the articles and stuff like that. Her and Joey work together on the visuals, and then Joey decides on the visuals and outsources it and brings those back. And then we have another team member who's in charge of posting them. So we use software called Meet Edgar. And Meet Edgar is great. It basically like randomizes. And what I like about it is that it's not just like one and done posting. It reuses stuff. And so you can put stuff in a queue and it'll constantly cycle it.
Really?
And then you can take stuff out of the queue. So we post stuff over time, right? Like it'll be like a month or two it'll pass, but we've got 150, 200 pieces of content or whatever that actually just kind of cycle. And then we continually add more stuff into it. The same thing with our articles that we post across social media. They're actually all put into posting software. And when we come out with a new article, it's added into the queue. And then just adds to the cycle over time. And then if something underperforms or if we decide that something maybe is controversial in a way that we don't agree with, or we don't think that it adds value, we just pull it out. And then what happens is Meet Edgar on Instagram, on like Facebook and LinkedIn, it'll post automatically. But on Instagram, it won't post automatically because Instagram doesn't allow that. So what it does is it actually sends a notification to somebody's phone, whoever has like the permission in their app installed. In this case, we have a staff member, she's in Spain, Alina, who's awesome, who does the formatting of the articles on our website as well. And she does the posting on Instagram and stuff like that for us. So what it does is the app sends a notification to her phone saying, hey, time to post this on Instagram. She clicks the notification. What it does is it copies the text that we've put into there and it downloads the photo to her phone.
Nice.
So she then pops open Instagram. The photo is already downloaded from a series of photos, if it's one of those like carousel things, and then she copy and pastes the text and uploads it. So that's how that's
pretty
done.
practical.
This is the most legitimately informative first 10 minutes of any podcast we've done. I feel uncomfortable. Let me just get that out there. I'm not sure I like it.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah.
All about adding value here.
Right. The this shocking levels of volume in the first 10 minutes of the online.
And also getting better. We're all about getting better. So today, actually, I listened to the episode. It was about going into other Facebook groups. Is the one that went live today.
Right.
And in Slack that we manage, like our team for a podcast and the production company and stuff like that, who edits these and posts them and stuff for us, they said that the next episode is going to be the final one with those annoyingly long advertisements at the beginning of the episode that we all hate so much. So I really apologize to all of you guys who have skipped through those for approximately 6 minutes and 17 seconds. In every single episode, I've done the same thing. Don't feel bad for doing it. And we hear you, and that's just part of getting better, right? We're trying with a whole bunch of different ways to convey information. And so, this episode won't have those long ads and stuff like that. So, it's not a bad thing to try things, as long as you're willing to accept, defeat.
It's like
except when something doesn't work, right?
It's like watching Avengers Endgame, but you watch Titanic first to get to it. That's what the ads are like. It's like a 3-hour movie for you to get to a 3-hour movie.
It was like that time in the Love Boat when.
How dare you, Jonathan Goodman? How dare you? We do not blaspheme the Love Boat on this podcast, sir. That's not what we do. I'm shocked by your behavior. Keto's here. Keto, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm surviving.
You're surviving. I felt so badly after listening to the episode that Jonathan just talked about that aired, had my kid got pooped on and stung by a wasp story. And I felt so bad. I've been feeling bad for you all day.
This is a great moment to bring up the fact that same child, we went to a ranch, like a farm, and she got rammed by a sheep.
Holy crap.
She's fine. She's safe. But it was one of those. Yes, because she was like, oh, it's a sheep and it's so fluffy. I'm going to give it a hug. And I was like, no. I know it's too late. The thing did not like it. The second my kid stepped away, like whack, like it just hit her with, head butter her. Maybe. And she fell to the ground, and her cry was not a cry of pain. It was one of betrayal. Yeah. It was like, how could this beautiful thing do something so awful to me?
Maybe she should just stay inside until she's an adult.
I need to bubble wrap her or something.
You said a cry of betrayal.
It's a different type of cry, though, isn't it? Like, your kid's cries. Like, I know Calvin's cries. There will be a kid crying at the playground or whatever, and it might be, and it's just funny because this happened yesterday. There was one kid crying in the playground, but they happened to be on the other side, so like none of the parents could see. It ended up being him, but none of the parents could see him. And every single parent just like head up, like whose kid is that? My kid? Is that my kid? And then of course, when you realize it's not your kid, the next question is it my kid who caused that kid to cry?
Right.
Yeah.
What did my kid do?
Should I be worried right now? Should we be running?
And it was Calvin that caused the kid to cry. But to be fair, the kid was a bit of a weenie, so we didn't feel bad.
You guys giving birth to miscreants here. At least Nate's sweet. He's sweet, a sweet, angelic child. Yes. Don't let Nate intermingle with either Jonathan or Catalina's kids. That's probably a good note for you.
He's going to get either his acorn stolen, or he's going to get headbutted by a sheep.
Yeah,
those are options.
My personal rule of thumb is never steal another man's acorns.
That's a good one.
So we've got a topic today, apparently. It's something that I don't know. Oh, I know what it's about. It's about online training and whether or not you've had. Anybody want to announce the apps?
Let's. Why don't I just? I'll just
I'm going to mess
it
up. We know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I'll just take over on it. The topic today is first of all whether or not you can responsibly train clients online without any in-person experience, and if so, because spoiler alert, the answer is yes, you can. How to do it. And this is something that I have in somewhat recent times completely flipped my opinion on. Really? If you read the Wealthy Fit Pro's Guide to Online Training,
I remember,
of which there's like 30,000 copies in print that say this, it actually says very, very clearly in that book, you should have in-person experience first. And I flipped a little bit for a few reasons. One is if you're starting your fitness career in 2020, like it might not be an option to have in-person training experience. And this is not me saying that it's ideal to not work in a gym.
Right.
Most successful trainers I know did. There are certainly examples of people who never worked in a gym. Certainly a lot of nutrition coaches never worked in a gym, like Joe Messina, Jim Cassell, like they've never worked, right? Some of our Online Trainer Academy level 1 and level 2 graduates who are doing really, really well never worked in a gym. But for them, it's actually a side hustle on their full-time thing. Joe's an engineer and Jim's a broadcast journalist. And for them, it's predominantly nutrition.
Right.
But anyway, I mean, like I said, most successful trainers that I know started out like I did, like all of us here did, right? We trained clients in person. But if you're starting your career in 2020, that might not be an option. And it's certainly not something that you can depend on. Even if where you are right now, gyms are open, they might close again. There's probably not the type of compensation that there used to be, certainly not guaranteed compensation working in a gym. A lot of internationally, you guys might not know this, in the US it's happened a little bit, but internationally, predominantly the UK actually, compensation for trainers has gone down to effectively minimum wage. And not only that, but there are basically this is some of the major facilities, commercial type gyms, there's no escalators in terms of pace. Doesn't matter how educated you are, doesn't matter how long you've been there. Really? And the craziest part about it is clients are not required to commit to anything. So clients don't have to buy packages or anything like that. They can book as little as 4 hours before through an app for a training session. So they're basically looking at trainers now as like glorified rep counters. Which, I mean, if we're completely honest, a lot of trainers kind of are. Right. So, if you're really good, you don't work there. It's kind of what it comes down to. But I guess the point is, after the pandemic ends, whatever stage it's at where you are, you do have to be prepared for future shutdowns, like they're all but certain.
Right.
And so to me, there's kind of two coaches that can build a solid online business without working in a gym first. And it might mean that one day you want to work in a gym, might not, but you're looking at like young, newly certified trainers who are just boasting with energy and motivation, like people who really want to learn. Train going by, Ren? Yep. He turned off his mic. So we're looking, he's nodding emphatically. That's how you communicate on a podcast. Young, newly certified trainers boasting with energy and motivation, right? Like people who are just so passionate and they just want to get into the industry, and this is kind of the only way that they can do it right now. And it's a head start. And the second is aspiring coaches, probably a little bit later in life. I mean, they've had an initial career or two or three or four, who have helped family and friends for years, right? And are now ready to pursue personal training either as a second career or as a side hustle. It's basically one of those two groups. And so what I want to talk about today is kind of four things. The first is how to actually train fitness clients online without in-person experience, how to do that well. The second, which I really, really love, is actually how to build up your knowledge base and expand into new client groups systematically without blowing yourself out, so that you can expand the amount of people that you're going to work with at any given time. And that'll make more sense after I go through the first. The third is how to actually market online training without any previous experience or past results. And the craziest thing is you actually have a marketing advantage if you've never worked with clients before. And I'll talk about why. And the final is, of course, why movie. I mean, this was always the case, but even more so, you got to build the business and the fitness skill set simultaneously. So I want to talk about all four of those things.
I want you to. I want nothing more than to hear you talk about all four of those things. And I'm going to interject emphatically and agree with what you're saying, because I've noticed that on the PTDC stories on Instagram, if I make a noise, I get on camera. So that's important to me when the videos come out. I haven't made enough noise as you're talking, and it's all Jonathan Goodman. I can't have that. You know, I match my hats and shirts for a reason, so I can get on camera. So I agree emphatically with the things you say. I know I'll be on camera for the PTDC stories on Instagram. I'm sorry, Jonathan, go ahead.
How does that get chosen?
I don't know.
You pick them? Amber, you pick them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, cool. She does. Okay. See how I agreed emphatically there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amber does it.
Get ready for more of that.
Amber does a lot of things that we don't know about.
Yes, she does. And we love her for that.
Yes.
Throw another one at me.
Very much.
I'm ready.
Appreciate her. Carolina's not drinking her purple drink today.
She's got a Fresca or something.
It's a bubbly.
Oh, it's a bubbly.
Oh, bubbly. Okay.
You know what's really funny? I saw an advertisement for bubbly. We were like going for a bike ride with my dad and Calvin on Sunday. And it was bubbly, but Michael Bublé, who's the singer, was promoting it. And somebody had like this was part of the advertisements, but they pretended that somebody spray painted the Y with an E, and so it was Bublé.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
it's a good commercial.
Yeah, somebody was very clever doing that. Let's get into it. So number one, how to train fitness clients online without in-person coaching experience. This is the $1 million question, right? And really what it comes down to me is that the best way to succeed as a new trainer is actually to avoid failure. You know that you're not going to be really great at what you do. You're never good at what you do when you just start doing it. That's just the reality of doing something and being new. What's important is that you avoid failure so that you give yourself an opportunity to continue to get better. Now, the best way to avoid failure is to stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. And so here's how you stay in your lane. You've got to only accept clients that you think that you can actually help. And as counterintuitive as it sounds, it's actually better to turn down business earlier in career than to take on clients who might be better served by somebody who's more experienced or specialized than you. And that's also largely how you build your network early on as a trainer. You know, it's a really good way to get to know another trainer who's farther along in their career than you, to give them a client. They're going to be really thankful, and then you get to know them, and then you have a mentor who's, you know, going to be more helpful because you've engaged that person with value. And And at the same time, that's infinitely more valuable to you than a former client who got unsatisfactory results or got hurt or something like that, which obviously can kill you. But of course, you do need to take on clients. So when you do take on clients, you've got to be honest about your status. Like, don't pretend that you're not new when you're new. I'm going to talk about in the third point about the marketing bit. It can actually work to your advantage if you position yourself as somebody who's still figuring stuff out. Everybody wants to be part of a journey. Everybody wants to be part of an experiment. Everybody wants to get a good deal. And so if you can wrap all those things up, you can actually use your newness as a huge benefit, as a marketing benefit. And I'll talk about that. So one of the worst things you could possibly do when you're new in your career is pretend that you have experience that you don't. What you can do, though, is there's one person that you know better than anybody else in the world, which is you. There's one transformation that you know really, really well, which is your own. What was the reason you wanted to become a personal trainer? There's this kind of like a passion purpose continuum that I've spoken about a few times. A lot of fitness professionals start by having some sort of a personal transformation. They lost weight, they gained weight, they gained muscle, they overcame some addiction, whatever it was, right? It's very powerful, and it's why you're here. I started lifting weights when I was 15 years old because I got concussed playing ice hockey because I was always very small. So I went to the YMCA first with my dad. Then I went to the YMCA with a couple of friends, Brandon and Trevor, after school. We'd walk from school to the YMCA. And I was so scared I was so nervous and anxious to be at the YMCA that I would hide in the area where the weights were smaller. They went up to 15 pounds. And I would dream of one day being able to lift weights in what I called the big boy zone, which is where the 20-pound dumbbells started.
This is the sweetest thing ever.
This
Kiddo.
is so wholesome.
Well,
I'm like touched like this story. This is wonderful.
It's like I don't even know him.
And
Yeah,
I would give names to the big dudes at the gym because that helped me become more comfortable in the gym. There was a guy who looked like he was French who had a ponytail. I named him Gaston. And over time, I would go like pretty reliably. And then at one point, my high school sweetheart, Tamara, who I'm still good friends with, I don't know, I was like 16 and a half years old or something like that. I took off my shirt because, we were getting into it. And I took off my shirt, and she commented that I had more muscle than she thought.
True.
It was like that point I was like, yo, I'm hooked.
Right.
All the reward mechanisms in the brain were like ding, 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 ding.
This is why we play the game. This is why we do what we do, right? And
oh my gosh.
And so that led me to this passion for health and fitness. And that got me to keep, that was my passion. That slowly transformed into purpose because it meant so much to me and gave me that confidence that I needed. And I knew how hard it was starting, right? That evolved into my purpose, which was helping others achieve that same transformation. So whatever your story is, I shared mine, get to know that, because those are the people that you can start training. Those are the people where their insecurities, their self-talk, the things they struggle with, the things that they want probably better than them if they think about it. And you can build their training around that. So you kind of start with those people, right? They may not be the clients you ultimately want to work with, but you start with them for the simple reason that you know them best. You know them because you are them. You know their deep-rooted insecurities. You know their negative self-talk. You know the specific challenges they have in the specific program they need to reach that goal. And from a business perspective, that kind of thing is gold. That kind of thing will help you stand out and get results with that person despite your lack of experience. So that's where you start. This podcast is made possible by viewers like you, except you're not viewers, you're listeners. Okay, well, I guess a word from our sponsors. Are you still trying to pick your online training software? If so, let me make this easy for you. Go with PT Distinction. It's truly the best, and I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. We actually use PT Distinction for our own online fitness business, online trainer coaching, and we're really happy with it. From onboarding to programming to client communication, PT Distinction has everything you need to run your online fitness business smoothly, and it's super simple to use. Now, normally they offer a free 30-day trial, but as a listener of the Online Trainer Show, you get a free 60-day trial, so you can make sure you love them before spending a dime. If you want to deliver first-class service to your clients while reclaiming your time, then visit onlinetrainer.com/PTD to sign up for your free 60-day trial today. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part. If you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today. And I hope to see you in there. The second is, how do you begin to expand out and expand out to other people? You can't start to learn how to train a whole bunch of new clients until you accept 1 or 2 of them that you're unfamiliar with. Mm-hmm. Like at one point you've got to branch out, but when you do, it's important to let them know that you're going to be learning alongside them and perhaps even offering them a discount to reflect the experiment that you're participating in. And this is what we're going to get into in step 3 with the marketing bit. But imagine how this looks from a prospective client's experiment, right? They came to you because they know and like you. Like they came to you because you have some sort of a connection to them, or you've helped somebody they know and think that you can help them too. They appreciate your honesty, right? When's the last time somebody that you were trying to sell something, when's the last time somebody who was trying to sell you something admitted that they're learning their product or service? One of the best ways that I got clients in the gym was that I would study in the gym floor. So if I didn't have a client at any point in time, I've actually told, because I'm now friends with the author of the book, Bob McAdee, who wrote Facilitated Stretching, which is like a textbook on stretching. And I would have his textbook. I didn't know him at the time, but I told him the story and we were having a slice of pie. It was great. And I would walk around the gym with that textbook. And I would just chat to members on the floor. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know. And I would have the textbook with me so they could see it. And I'd tell them that, hey, I'm studying because I'm trying to, become better at stretching. Is it cool when you're done the workout? Like come find me or wave to me or whatever it is. And I'd love to try a couple stretches with you, if you have time. And that helped me get deeper relationships with them. And then when they were ready to hire a trainer, who do you think they hired? That was like studying on the gym floor was a large component of me building my client base in the gym, which was really, really cool. And then these people, and here's the coolest part, these people now feel invested in your success. Right. You've described your work together as an experiment. They'll feel like a partner as much as a client. And somebody who feels invested, it's like people who discover a new indie band. And they're the first person to discover it and they tell everybody about it. And then that band becomes popular and all of a sudden that person who discovered them is uninterested in the band anymore.
Right.
Right?
It's not new.
Because now it's not new. It's like, oh, I discovered them. They want to tell everybody because it makes you feel like you look good. It improves your perceived self-worth to project that you've discovered something. Mm-hmm. That you're in the know, that you know a guy, that you know a gal. Like that actually drives a lot of action. And so you give your clients this, and they'll actually become some of your biggest boosters, some of your biggest brand ambassadors, if they're part of your experiment. And then what you do, so going back, I'm getting ahead of myself to number 3, but what you do still in number 2 is you have this client one or two at a time that's outside of your, like, call it your core competency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your mission now is to learn everything you can possibly know about that client. Seek out coaches that have results with clients like that. Study their programs, buy their books, read articles, figure out why they do everything they do. Ask them questions. You could DM them on Instagram or on Facebook, or whatever it is, and be like, yo, I have a client that looks like this. I know you've worked with a lot of people like that. Hey, why did you do this in your program? Like, they will answer you if you ask them a really good question. Learn everything you can, because then you've now become an expert in this type of client. And then you can take on other people who fit that client grouping. Mm-hmm. And now you've expanded one, right? And then you take on somebody in a different client group. And now you've expanded one. And by the way, this is the exact same process that you do when posting in a gym. like you start training people in a gym with no experience too.
Right.
And so you follow the same process. Any questions on that before I get into using your newness to your advantage and
no, I'm excited
learning how to market? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think it makes sense so far. I'm glad we could give you a pause for a water break, though.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Appreciate the backup.
Hey, we believe in you, Jonathan.
That's Ren getting on camera.
I have been waiting to hear that for so long. Nobody has ever told me that. Okay. Number 3, how to market online training without any in-person experience or past client results.
Yes.
Here's the thing. It's actually an advantage if you know how to build your offer appropriately. So let's assume you want to recruit more clients. Okay, well, you're listening to this. Let's assume you want to recruit more clients. You're going to tell potential clients upfront that you're testing a new program and you're inviting them to be part of the process. In return for participating in the test, they're going to get a big discount. And this is a great deal that you're never going to offer to anyone else. Mm-hmm. What this simple pitch, pay attention to that simple pitch. What it allows you to do is take imperfect action while simultaneously giving you the most sensational elements you could ever imagine in a marketing promotion. This is a compelling offer, limited number of spots, fixed expiration date, right? Like, you're only going to take on whatever, 5 clients, 10 clients, you have an end date for it. And then, so that makes it way easier to convert prospects into clients and continue to learn aside them. And then they'll be invested into your success, which I spoke about before, and turns them into brand ambassadors. Now, the coolest part about this is it gives you permission to be imperfect. We have found with a lot of the trainers that we work with, that we help build their online training business, they get almost paralyzed thinking that they have to do something really, really well or else they can't do it. And so they never take this kind of imperfect action, which means you never gain the relevant experience to be able to do it well. What I love about this is this marketing approach actually gives you permission to take that action, and clients know that you are learning alongside them. Mm-hmm. Immediately now, this veil of like perceived perfectness that, by the way, is largely like made up in your own minds a lot of the time. But this feeling that you have to be perfect if you're going to do this, you have to get it right. You don't want to embarrass yourself to clients. You have to have the right software. It has to work perfectly. I think we've shown you with this podcast that that's just simply not true. Fun fact, we had somebody who listened to 35 episodes and wrote us a 2-star comment about how, what was it? They were, they recognized what we were doing with imperfect action, but they didn't feel like we were doing like our brand any justice. And I'm like, you listened to 35 hours of us to figure that out?
It's like we've been telling you from the start. That's exactly it.
I respect the commitment.
I respect the commitment. But what I find most interesting about that comment is like, You listened to 35 hours. You could not have hated us that much. There is nothing that I will ever listen to for 35 hours that I don't find immensely entertaining and engaging.
Yeah, it's like, don't martyr yourself, people. Please don't martyr
Like,
yourself.
Like I think I'm done after the first 35 episodes, everybody. It's like,
what?
That's a whole Canadian day. 35 hours. That's a one day in Canada, right? Is that how the exchange works? I don't do math that well.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, step number 4. The final one, I mean, you're here, you're listening to this, so you kind of get this point, but like, you've got to build your business and fitness skills simultaneously.
Right.
You have to build them at the same time. Look, this is something that doesn't make me happy to say it, but COVID-19 bankrupted a lot of experienced trainers. And it did so for one simple reason. And this is experienced trainers. This is trainers who were very good at what they did. And it's for one simple reason, which is they never learned online business. Mm-hmm. They simply weren't prepared when the pandemic hit, and they might never recover. Like, moving forward, it was always this way, but even more moving forward, online business knowledge combined with fitness expertise is essential if you want to be in this industry. There's no way around it. You've got to build both skill sets. Our industry, historically, the training companies for our industry, baseline certifications, historically, they've done and still do a reasonably good job preparing you for the fitness challenges you're going to encounter training clients in a traditional facility. Mm-hmm. Like they give you the minimum, right? Like an entry-level personal trainer with either some sort of degree in exercise science or an accredited certification usually knows enough to get started. But colleges and certifications both do an absolutely god-awful, terrible job preparing you for the business of fitness. That's the simple truth. And if you want to succeed in this, you've got to go out of your way to acquire that. And learning more about fitness is not going to help you. I mean, COVID-19 has showed that, right? It's important to develop your fitness skill set, your fitness muscle, always ongoing. But it is just as important to develop your business muscle. And of course, this is where I enter in a pitch for the Online Trainer Academy.
And you should.
Like the Online Trainer Academy should be the first thing you do after your certification. In fact, we're working on some deals with major education providers to bundle it with initial certifications right now.
Nice.
Because
Perfect.
it is so important. It's an investment not just in your present, but in your future. Like, you're going to learn how to coach clients online and run a business so that you're prepared for the next disruption to come along after COVID-19. Because like, there's going to be another one, right? And another one, and another one, another one. This combination of fitness acumen and online business expertise is going to put you ahead of your peers, because most of them won't do this. Most of them don't listen to this podcast. If you ask 10 of your peers how many of them have ever heard of the Online Trainer Academy or heard of this podcast, maybe 1 or 2 of them will be like, yeah, I think I heard about them. Like, and we've got the largest, by a massive margin, we've got the largest education program for online fitness that exists. And that's the reality. So it'll put you way ahead of your peers whenever this happens. And this is how you get, successful clients and financial success. So I hope that helped you kind of figure out, answer the question that might be nagging in your head if you're listening to this podcast of whether you can train clients online if you haven't trained in person, but also like how to do it and how to kind of navigate it and pitch it and talk about it and build your way up.
I love it. I love how well structured, for those out there that know what the Founding Client Challenge is, and for those that don't, look it up. Just go to any of the OTA board, PTDC. You can literally just go in the search window for Founding Client Challenge. But I love how closely tied into what you just said the steps of the Founding Client Challenge are, specifically with the 5-1-60 the limited amount of people, one commonality, training for a certain period of time with an initial discount for co-building this process with me. That 160 statement sort of wraps up a lot of what you just explained as the process for a person who's new, not only to online training, but coaching, how they can sort of circumvent that through what I like to call the hustle. It's really, really, really well tied. I almost said entangled. Shout out to you, Will and Jada. It's really well orchestrated the way that they both tie in together. I didn't mean to leave August out. Sorry.
We decided to build an entanglement.
Built in. Jonathan Goodman is a precursor to the Will and Jada entanglement through his 5160.
I would have loved to be in that room with the PR expert who decided to come up with that word. Like they rebranded adultery.
I don't
think about that.
It's not adultery if everybody was okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody's okay with it in front of the
those kind of marriages. We need to expand our vision of what a marriage is.
100%. But they don't call those types of marriages entanglements. They call those types of marriages very different words. And it's discussed when you enter into the marriage largely, or at least before it happens. It isn't a retroactive thing where you say, hey, this happened, but I still want to be with you. Okay, well, let's call it an entanglement.
I don't know if this can be released on the podcast.
I mean, this like polyamorous relationships are a whole different conversation.
That's way too complicated a word, Jonathan. Stop it.
That's a whole different conversation.
You can't sell that on social media.
I mean, I know
my sources said that
the
PR representative was Amber Reynolds. I just want to throw that out there. None other than our own.
Because Amber does everything for everyone.
She does everything. Yeah.
So that was her. You're brilliant, Amber. You're brilliant.
Amber Reynolds is like the blonde Olivia Pope from Scandal. You just mention her name and she says it's handled.
Yes.
That's just how it goes down.
Yo, that was a good
Scandal
show.
Was a television show. I don't know.
That was a great show for like the first 2 seasons, and then
it got weird.
Yeah, the episode where she got like abducted and put into that jail
lost me
whole season.
I was off the train at that point. I stepped right off the train as it was running that specific episode when she woke. She was in that pit. I was like, okay, they've lost things to write about.
She turned into like a superhero. Like she was like this like crazy cerebral boss woman, right?
Well,
and then she gained all of these physical powers somehow.
Right.
And all in the traps, like Amber.
Traps and belts. This is the very interesting topic, and I don't want to ramble too much. I have no idea what time it is, so it's time to go. But I love the way that you summed all that up, Jonathan, because and just if I can recount what you said, because I was taking notes instead of sleeping today.
I saw that.
But so sort of step one, you're talking about being okay with the decision that yes, this is something that you can do. It may be advantageous to not have that specific skill set started, and number two, and number one, don't lie. I say it all the time here. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk. If you can't do certain things, don't pretend that you can't do certain things, because it's very endearing. I love the way that you looked longingly at Gaston across the gym room floor, Jonathan, and the fact that when you were shooting a scene from Twilight, the lead actress said, "I didn't expect this much muscle." That's always inspiring. Leading from that point into talking about, stretching your muscles. We talk about this oftentimes in fitness terms, but we don't talk about it enough in business terms, probably. You gotta get uncomfortable. Like the exercise is going to be uncomfortable. You want to apply stress, mechanical stress to the muscle. That discomfort will cause it to grow, and that will increase as you apply more repetitions. So stretching out of what your normal wheelhouse is of coaching into something that's slightly different that you can deep dive into, which is exactly what I did with my business, by the way. I didn't know much about coaching women. So I stretched a little bit and then I was able to deep dive into expertise. And then following that up with sort of the co-building process of 5160, and building an enticing offer that allows you to co-build something with a potential client. So that's sort of the formula for getting this done if you're new to not only online training, but coaching in general. Because coaching's a minefield right now in 2020, and it's probably going to stay that way, and a lot of it's not going to recover. And you don't want to be in a situation like Keto's children, where you get elbowed in the mouth, then stung by a bee, and then shat on by shat the right word there? Shat on by overhead seagulls. And this has been a great episode, another great episode of the Online Trainer Show. We're running at full speed now. And if you're here for if you make it all the way through episode 41, we'll take another 2-star rating. Thanks so much. I feel like
leave us reviews if you are enjoying or not enjoying this podcast. Let us know. Either way, if you've listened to 35 hours from us and you have just had enough now, give us 2 stars.
I tell you what, I feel like it's an even exchange for the time. Like, I'm okay to take 2 stars if you're gonna give me 35 hours for I appreciate it. That's more than fair.
More than fair.
It's more
than we would really appreciate reviews, ratings on wherever you listen to podcasts. If you can do that, we do read them. Amber reads them. She passes them along to us sometimes.
Right. That's when we say we mean Amber.
Yeah, that's
future reference.
I'm not going to say that we don't ever read them. Like, there's a chance that we might read them. Is what I'm saying. I'm not selling this.
I read them after Amber sends them.
Write us reviews, and there's a chance that somebody might see them at some point on our team, and we'd really appreciate it.
That's fair.
And we might even talk about you at one point. And tell you what, we might review your review in a later episode. Okay.
That's right. Get creative.
Very, very solid, Jonathan.
Yes.
Onlinetrainers.com/podcast. So we can go for show notes, reviews, pictures of things that people send us that
was the worst pitch to get somebody to do something ever.
It was pretty bad.
Do this thing for me, and I probably won't notice.
Yeah, ridiculously uninspiring, Jonathan. Do you motivate your clients with that mouth, sir? I think not. So we'll see you next time for episode 42, because this was 41, and I knew what episode it was today. It's a major, and we probably need a little jingle. And maybe when you listen to this episode, there was not 30 minutes worth of advertisements before it started. We really hope that
we deserve a review for that.
Yeah, yes. We really hope to. So we'll see you next time. Let's get a little jingle going. That always makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Jingle.
I usually skip it, actually.
Jingle. No, Jonathan, never skip it. You know how hard I worked in my closet on that jingle?
Now we're in the closet.
How
did I get in this closet? How do I get out of this closet?
Without my Beretta. I'm going now. I've got nothing else.
This is the Online Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.